If the person you bet your whole future on suddenly turned away, leaving you to vanish into the snow, what would you do? In the harsh wilderness of the American West, one storm can wipe out both dreams and lives. A small cabin burns, like a lone flame in a sea of white. Inside, Cal Bennett, a man who lives alone in the mountains, is mending his reins when 3 faint knocks echo through the storm. At this hour, who would be crazy enough to be out there? He grabs his Winchester and steps to the door. Cal unlatches it. The wind crashes in, snuffing out half the fire. On the threshold stands a woman, barely conscious. Her hair is frozen, her dress soaked, and she clutches a small bundle. "Please." Her voice trembles like a broken thread. Before we learn who this woman is, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you love stories of survival and fateful encounters. Comment below and tell us where you are watching from. Then let's return to the blizzard raging outside. Cal throws the rifle aside and rushes to catch her. She is light as a soaked rag. He drags her in, slams the door against the storm, and feeds the fire. "Can you hear me?" he asks. Her eyelids flutter open, just a flash of blue, then close again, her body trembling violently. He gathers blankets, then hesitates. That wet dress will kill her before the storm does. Cal turns away, lays a thick blanket and a clean flannel shirt beside her. "I'll turn my back. Change into this and wrap yourself up. I won't look." A silence as long as winter itself. Then her voice, faint but steady. I'm done." He turns. She's wrapped in the blanket, the loose flannel collar revealing the faint colour returning to her cheeks. He places a tin cup of black coffee in her hands, then a steaming bowl of soup. As the warmth spreads, she sighs, cracked lips whispering, "I thought I would die out there." Cal only nods. The storm still howls, but inside that small cabin, a life has just been pulled back from the edge. The fire crackles. The narrow cabin glows with warmth. The girl wakes to the sound of wind outside, her blurred eyes slowly clearing. Cal hands her a bowl of hot soup, his voice rough but steady. "Who are you? What were you doing out there alone?" She hesitates, trembling beneath the blanket. "I have nowhere left to go." When the firelight catches her pale hands and the thin gold ring on her finger, Cal realizes she's not someone used to the harsh Western life. She takes a breath and speaks softly. "My name is Clara Weston. I came from Boston. I am a mail-order bride." The air freezes. She tells her story. A wealthy man named Ethan Blackwell wrote her dozens of letters, promising marriage once she arrived. But the moment she stepped off the train, he looked at her and said, "Not what I expected," and walked away, leaving her alone in the snow. Cal's hands tighten into fists. "He left you in that storm?" She nods, tears rolling down her face. Cal throws the letter of rejection into the fire. The paper burns bright like vengeance for her broken life. From that moment, through the roar of the storm, they both understand fate has just bound them together. But neither of them knows yet. Ethan Blackwell will return soon, bringing something colder than the snow itself. The next morning, the snow stops, but the silence is thick as ice. Clara sits by the stove, her tangled hair catching the first light, her eyes slowly finding life again. "Mr. Bennett," she says quietly, "I haven't told you everything. I wasn't just running from a marriage, I was running from my past." Her story begins in Boston, where her father died, leaving behind debts and a ruined family. She was thrown out of her home, sold everything to buy a wedding dress and a one-way ticket west, believing happiness could be mailed through letters. Cal stays silent, his eyes sharpening when she mentions Blackwell's name. "He promised so much," Clara says bitterly. but it took him one glance to take it all back. Cal looks out the window, where the weak light glimmers over the snow. He doesn't act without reason, he says. Maybe he was afraid of something. Afraid of what? Maybe you know something he wants to hide. She looks up, eyes flashing with doubt. I don't think that letter of rejection was the end, Cal murmurs. And that very night, they discover one of Blackwell's letters was not just love talk, but proof of a far greater scheme. The storm rages for 3 more days, burying the cabin in white. For Cal and Clara, the world becomes only wind, fire, and 2 strangers trapped together. She refuses to sit idle learning to light fires, cook stew, mend his torn shirts with perfect stitches. Every time she smiles, the cabin seems warmer. They tell each other stories of Wyoming plains and Boston streets. Between snow and silence, they rebuild the warmth of being human. That night, while Clara mends a shirt by lamplight, she asks, "Did you ever think of marrying, Cal?" He chuckles softly. "There was someone once, but she said she'd rather die than live out here among these cold stones." Clara looks up. She was wrong. There's warmth here, peace. Her words leave him quiet, but his eyes change. That night, as they sit by the fire, neither speaks. Yet both know the scariest thing when the snow melts won't be saying goodbye, but pretending these 3 days never happened. 2 days after the thaw, hoofbeats shatter the quiet morning. Cal is chopping wood. His grip on the axe tightens. Through the mist, 3 riders appear, Ethan Blackwell leading, his face cold as ice, followed by the sheriff and a burly cowboy. Clara steps to the door, eyes wide at the man who abandoned her in the storm. "She is my wife," Blackwell says smoothly. "I paid to bring her from Boston. She belongs to me." Cal narrows his eyes. "You buying cattle or people?" The air goes still. Blackwell pulls out the letter of rejection and smirks. "I was angry. She will come back." But Clara straightens her back, her voice strong against the wind. "No, I choose to stay. You left me, and I no longer belong to you." The sheriff examines the letter, then says coldly, "Mr. Blackwell, you ended this arrangement yourself." Blackwell's face pales. "You'll regret trusting him," he snarls. Cal's voice is steel. "Maybe. But at least she gets to live." Blackwell curses, turns his horse, and rides away, leaving behind the cold wind and echoing hoofbeats. Clara sinks onto the step, hands trembling. "I caused you trouble again." Cal kneels before her. "No. He's just a man used to owning everything he sees, but he can't buy a soul." She looks at him, eyes shining. "You don't believe what he said, do you?" "All I have is this land and my 2 hands," he answers. She shakes her head gently. "And your heart, the one thing he'll never understand." In that moment, the distance between them disappears. The wind screams outside, but inside there is only warmth. Cal whispers, "You should go to town. It's safer there." "Do you really want me to leave?" "No, but I can't keep you here if you want to go." She touches his cheek and smiles. "I was abandoned once. I won't walk away from the man who opened his door to me in the storm." They look at each other, then lean in. The kiss is soft as breath, warm as fire in the winter night. Rumors spread faster than wind across the plains. All of Stone Hollow is talking about the woman Cal Bennett saved in the storm. Some pity them, others say Cal lost his honor. But a few stand with them, Dr. Harper, old Mrs. May, and Pastor Whitaker. "People's tongues cut deeper than wind," Mrs. May says, "but truth can't stay buried forever." Then one day, a strange letter arrives for Clara. "Your father is dying. A secret benefactor has paid for your train fare. The ticket waits for you at the bank." Her face goes pale. "My father died 2 years ago." Cal understands immediately. Blackwell, he's setting a trap. They ride to town, and there stands Blackwell, waiting in front of the bank with a judge. Clara, he says smoothly, I was worried. Your father needs to see you. But the sheriff appears, holding a fresh telegram. News confirmed from Boston. No man named Thomas Weston is alive. The letter you brought is a forgery. The crowd turns furious. Blackwell is forced out of town in shame. Clara turns to Cal and whispers, I don't want to run anymore. I want to stay with you. 2 weeks later, the snow melts. Under the old maple beside the cabin, a few close friends gather: Dr. Harper, Mrs. May, and Pastor Whitaker. No fancy gown, no music, just wind, wildflowers, and 2 souls who survived a storm. Clara wears a simple cream dress, her hair adorned with meadow blossoms. Cal wears his cleanest white shirt. When the pastor asks, Do you take him through sunshine and storm alike? She smiles. I do. Cal takes her hand, murmuring, I promise with all my heart. Their kiss mingles with soft cheers, deeper than any vow. Then, 5 years later, the little cabin has become a home filled with children's laughter. Clara teaches letters, Cal tends the fields. Life is simple and enough. One afternoon, a lone rider approaches Ethan Blackwell. Aging, worn, and defeated, he offers to buy back the land he once despised. Cal crosses his arms. Not for sale. Clara steps out, her eyes calm. You once called me weak. But look, I'm still standing, and I'm happy. Blackwell says nothing. He turns his horse and rides away, leaving behind a spring that no storm could ever break. The Wyoming night is clear as crystal. The sky, full of stars, reflects off the last patches of snow around the cabin. On the wooden porch, Cal and Clara sit side by side, hands entwined, watching the firelight flicker through the window. It's so quiet, Clara whispers. Yeah, Cal smiles. The kind of quiet that reminds you you're still alive. She leans her head on his shoulder, gazing at the prairie where once there was only wind and fear. Now it's home, a place where 2 lost souls found each other. Do you remember the night I knocked on your door? She asks. I thought it was just the wind, Cal says softly. Turns out it was destiny. She laughs gently. Not destiny, just someone brave enough to open the door. The fire crackles. Sparks drift into the night. The storm is long gone, but what it left behind, kindness, faith, and love, will stay with them forever. If you believe that sometimes the most beautiful things begin in a storm, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another journey through the wild, magical West.